from the Kansas City Royals, Kelvin Herrera. And now let's meet the American League manager and starting lineup. The manager from the 2015 World Series champion Kansas City Royals, Yost. Batting sixth, the first baseman from the Kansas City Royals, Hosmer. Batting eighth and catching from the Kansas City Royals, Salvador Perez. Starting pitcher warming up in the bullpen from the Chicago White Sox, Sveum. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 National League and American League All-Stars. It's the 2016 All-Star Game from Petco Park in San Diego, California on a beautiful night.
Saturday on FS1, it's one of baseball's oldest rivalries. Don't miss Big Papi and the Red Sox battle Carlos Beltran and the Yankees. Then Miguel Cabrera looks to slug the Tigers past Hosmer and the Royals.
Incredible!
The action begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on FS1.
Marlins Carlos Gonzalez, one-time batting champ, is hitting eighth, and Addison Russell is the shortstop. He bats in the number 9 spot. Now we look at the defense for the American League. It is a young outfield. 2 Boston Red Sox, 1 on each corner. Betts and Bradley with the great Mike Trout in the middle. But look at this. The infielders and the catcher, first team in All-Star Game history to have the entire group 26 years old or younger. Perez, Hosmer, Altuve, Bogarts, and the control pitcher striking out less this year. Let's give you our keys to the game. They are sponsored by Ford, and this is the All-Star break for a lot of baseball players, but not for you, because you came up with this stuff.
Well, you know, when you think about an All-Star game, it's all about timing. And
starting lineup for the American League, Altuve, a hit machine, leading the league, 341. First up, then Mike Trout, Manny Machado. The DH is David Ortiz. Celebration for him tonight. Xander Bogaerts, Hosmer, Mookie Betts, Salvador Perez, and Jackie Bradley Jr., who is just 23 and really coming into his own, and a guy who was just a kid, who just turned 21 when he was a shortstop for the world champion Red Sox in 2013. But now it's all starting to click for that kid who played more soccer growing up in Aruba than baseball, so still relatively new to this game as Hosmer stands in.
Yeah, be careful here. He is coming out of his shoes first pitch. Oh. He loves the first pitch, as does most of these guys in the lineup. What makes Cueto so tough, besides those deliveries, his changeup off his fastball is really difficult for the hitters. There, that changeup.
1 ball, 1 strike on Hosmer, who is a terrific first baseman. Spray line drive hitter, probably the best defensive first baseman in the game. Cole Hamels from San Diego is getting loose. He'll be the 3rd pitcher. Hosmer hits one to left. Back at the wall. This game's tied.
Well, you know, the Royals and Yost would like to get back to where they were the last 2 years. Hosmer, big swing, attacks early. He's got power, as you can imagine, to the field. And this is a 2-seamer that stays over the heart of the plate. And Hosmer deposited it in the left field wall.
His slugging percentage and OPS has gone up each of the last 3 years. And just a vital piece to that postseason machine that Dayton Moore and Ned Yost have put together with the Kansas City Royals as Mookie Betts stands in. One of the two young outfielders starting in this game from the Red Sox. Base hit. What a year Betts is putting together. Hitting .304 with 18 home runs for a guy who's not big, but he's strong, and so's Hosmer.
Yeah, these hitters, you know, we talked about the shadows coming, so they want to take advantage of anything that looks straight. Any fastball that comes up there, Hosmer. You'll remember that home run for a long time in the All-Star game.
Salvador Perez. These two were battery mates last year down the stretch and into the postseason. Johnny Cueto and Salvador Perez. And Perez is now at the top of the list of the best catchers in the game, combining offense and defense. Learning how to pull with power. And you can't even hear it a ball and a strike.
Well, that is not fair or fun for a guy who catches just about every game. You could make a case he's Kansas City's MVP. Even if his numbers may not show it, he just drilled that ball off his leg. And Posey giving him the time by going out to talk to Cueto. Let's see if the pitcher will cut him a break by not going back in there. More than likely, you see the shin guard just above it. In a regular season game, I could almost guarantee Cueto would go right back in there.
Gives him a little more time for the pain to subside. A check on Mookie Betts. We're going to hear from Eric Hosmer here in a moment. Perez has hit 14 home runs. Signed one of the most club-friendly contracts a few years ago. The Royals have redone it. He is a good one. Into left. Back at the wall. And gone. Salvador Perez has made it 3-1 AL. In baseball, and Salvador Perez just flexed for an All-Star game.
No, they tried to go back in there, although being a lot lower. That ball was up over the middle of the plate. Maybe after hitting the ball on his leg, he got his leg down quick.
Swing and a miss by Jackie Bradley Jr. Here it is.
His front leg gets down. Ball. See how it stays up. And that was a no doubt.
That's off the end of the bat. Tough play. Posey will let it go. Fair ball. Base hit for Bradley, and that's 4 in a row. Looked like it was going to turn left, and it stayed right on the line. And Bradley will take it.
One more look at the home run. There's the two-seam fastball. See how it misses the target where Posey wants it. Everybody at this point, including the pitcher, you know that ball is gone. Somebody gets a souvenir, as now the pain on his leg is not as great as it once was.
The Royals going deep here in the second. And they're playing in this game for their manager, Ned Yost. Altuve, strike one. And Yost just popped his laptop down when we were in his office, and I said, "You trying to get everybody in the game? You're trying to win the game." And he kind of glared like, "I'm trying to win the game. If I don't play somebody tough."
Well, he won it last year.
And so did the Royals. In tight on Altuve. So this has turned into a longer effort than I'm sure either Johnny Cueto wanted, than his manager Bruce Bochy wanted, than the front office of the Giants wanted, and I would imagine any more trouble he may exit. It's one thing to get the start. It's another to be stretched out and have to rebound from it at the beginning of the second half.
Oh, this guy's such an aggressive hitter as Altuve, but if you get the ball down, maybe he can entice a ground ball to the Cubs infield.
That's a foul ball. Jose Fernandez from the Marlins is getting loose.
Take it, he says.
Altuve goes down swinging. Let's swing it down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Eric, that's the first home run by a Royal in an All-Star game since Bo Jackson in 1989. This is your first. You told me how excited you were to be here, soaking it all in. What was it like going around the bases?
Oh man, it was unbelievable, and you know, couldn't even get an interview in before Salvi came back and turned around and did that. So you know, this whole week, this whole San Diego All-Star Game has been unbelievable. You know, it's a dream come true, and you know, it kind of felt like my first big league homer right there. It was special.
Eric, thanks very much.
Congratulations to Eric Hosmer. Salvador Perez, part of a 3-run inning. Cueto out. The hard-throwing right-hander Fernandez coming in from the Marlins here in the second. It's the inning. 2 homers in it. Back after this word from your local Fox station after Hosmer and Perez go deep.
Well, we've been on a big stage before. We've been here before. We've been on the stage before.
Well, it's the third pitcher of the game for the American League. That American League manager must be crazy. Here's a base hit into center off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez, and just teasing our buddy Ned Yost. Ned, your Kansas City Royals just went deep in the bottom of the second. That had to feel good for you guys.
Yeah, I told Haas. They made me feel like a proud papa. You know, two homers from Haas and by Salvi was really fun to watch.
I said earlier that when I asked you, you trying to get everybody in this game or you trying to win it, you kind of popped your laptop down and glared at me as only Ned Yost can do and said, I'm trying to win this game. And so far so good, huh?
Yeah, so far so good. You know, we try to set forth a strategy with our pitching, you know, where our guys can come in, starters can come in and just kind of blow it out for one inning, you know, just like Chris Sale said yesterday at the press conference, just let it eat for an inning and, you know, keep putting power on pitchers in there and guys that are experienced and, you know, been successful and see what happens.
It's kind of silly to say that a bullpen's good. Any bullpen would be on an all-star team, but man, you get a lead into the middle innings of this thing. Here is Addison Russell flying one into center. Back is Trout with room. Tagging is Gonzalez, and he will not test Mike Trout. I was just going to say, and we'll let you go here in a sec, you get a lead late, and man, you can go shut down with your bullpen.
Well, that was the plan. You know, that was the plan. That was, you know, that's been very successful for us in Kansas City, and you know, we tried to do that last year here, and it worked great, and we thought we'd try that strategy again.
I know you're having fun. How good has the city of San Diego been for this All-Star game?
It's been phenomenal. This is, I mean, one of the funnest cities to come to in all of baseball, and the stadium's gorgeous and the weather's gorgeous, and it's just a fantastic place to play.
All right, we're going to see you in October.
I hope so. You know, we've got to get a little bit healthy, but you know, our guys are hanging in there, and we're due for a couple of good runs. So we're excited about the second half.
Well, we always enjoy it. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Ned Yost, former coach with you for a number of years in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know Ned very well, and certainly all that he's been to. Think about all the way back to that wild card game, and what a wild card game it was. That massive comeback against the A's, and then what the Royals almost did against the Giants and what they did last year. What a 3-year run for the Kansas City Royals.
1 ball and 2 strikes on. He bounces around, but it does not affect him. Out in front of that changeup in the count 2-2.
That's a great changeup. You'd see his fastball delivery, but the changeup and the grip, this ball just doesn't get there. A little fade at the end. And you're right, Joe. I mean, people do not understand at home. It is not that easy to play one position in the big leagues, yet alone 4 or 5.
Oh, good dig by Perez. That saved a run. Zobrist was on his toes.
Well, he tried to duplicate, and he just pulled that changeup. That happens when you got a little extra adrenaline in a game that you would not be able to duplicate in a regular season game. This will be the closest thing to a postseason environment for guys who haven't experienced it yet.
3-2 pitch now. Salvador Perez, who's flashing the signs, has won the last 3 Gold Glove awards in the American League, and the hometowner, young Will Myers, who is finally healthy and showing just how good he is, waits on deck. Got him. Looked like another change, and Cole Hamels gets around. Edwin Encarnacion came off the bench to do the running and take over at that DH spot. Made himself proud in this long big league career. His 10th and final All-Star game here tonight.
You wonder the emotions going through him for all the work he's put in the game and all that he's given the game. If this truly is, which I believe is last year, this would be a moment he'll forever have. That's why you're hitting over 330.
So the double sets up Eric Hosmer, who homered his first time the other way, and Fernandez is going to have to do some pitching to get out of this. Good start to it, strike one. You know, there are certain positions. You think about Buster Posey, who is a three-time champion at catcher for the San Francisco Giants. 2010, 2012, 2014. And then there's a young guy who is 21 in Bogarts. Those are two defensive positions where things are coming at you fast, and Bogarts was good enough at 21 on a World Series champ in 2013.
Yeah, we could say all we want about the big leagues being rushed to the big leagues, whether it's a pitcher or position player, but never have there been more polished, ready superstars at such a young age to handle that position.
That is right through Bryant into left field. Encarnacion will score, and Hosmer's having a night. A rocket for an RBI single.
Bryant has no chance right here. This ball squared up over the center. We've already seen him go the other way, but that ball gets on Bryant in a hurry.
Joe Madden, the manager for the Chicago Cubs, is watching in Naples, Florida. And I guarantee you his first thought was, Chris, get out of the way. We need you for the second half. And you can see Fernandez saying, wow, that was a bullet. After the walk to Posey, and the batter is Anthony Rizzo, and with one swing of the bat, he has the ability of making this a one-run game. Talked about how hot he is coming in, and he is fearless at the plate. That's fair. Down the right field line, digging it out in the right field corner is Betts, and going first to third is Posey, and there's action for the National League here in the fourth inning.
It's a guy that doesn't mind getting hit. He's on top of the plate, and you wouldn't think there's room between Hosmer and the first base bag, but he hits it so firmly that even the really good fielding Hosmer cannot get over to knock it down. A bit more adrenaline that it can affect that secondary pitch.
3-2 pitch is a bullet hit to Altuve. No double play as Ozuna did well to get back. Can't hit it any harder. Good play by Jose Altuve.
This is unbelievable. You see right at the cusp of the shadow, has the ability to turn and look and see if he can get the double play. That ball, we've got all kinds of metrics to determine how far and how hard a ball is hit. This one had to be over 100 miles an hour.
The 2016 MLB All-Star Game on Fox is presented by MasterCard. The Budweiser game summary. Chris Bryant went deep in the first inning, youngest Cub to homer in an All-Star game since 1936. Hosmer, what a night he's already had. 2 for 2, solo shot, RBI single, and Salvador Perez, a 2-run blast. That's the difference in the game right now. He went deep in the second. Changes here for the National League, and the hometowner, Pomerantz, is on the mound, the left-hander. He's bounced between starting rotation and bullpen in his career as he's bounced around. Salvador Perez will lead it off. Corey Seager is in at short. And the catcher is Wilson Ramos. Here's Pomerantz. And his first to Perez is outside, ball one.
I'm always intrigued with these kind of stories. If I told this young man, hey, you're going to make the All-Star team going into spring training, he'd have probably looked at me and said, what? I'm trying to fight for a starting job because I'm in the bullpen. At least that's the thought for the San Diego Padres. He's a guy that commands fastball, doesn't overwhelm you with velocity, mix and matches his curveball with changeup, and an abbreviated windup. Looks like he's out of the stretch.
That breaking ball's fouled by Perez. The count 2-1. ERA is 2.47, so he's under 2.5, and that's 4th best in baseball. Last Padre to end the season in the top 5 is Jake Peavy. That's a fair ball. Bryant has time. 1 out. Well, Perez fouled a ball off his leg and then hung in there and pounded a home run, and we'll give you StatCast numbers.
That's unbelievable. Look at the exit velocity, and then you look at the launch angle with where he hit it. He may have hit his leg harder than that, but nonetheless a rewarded 2-run homer. Rival Washington Nationals.
He's jammed here. Good pitch by Quintana. Dropped and out. Well, they may want to look at that again. Daniel Murphy is staying there. I think it looked like with a naked eye from up here, he was safe. Here's the bobble by Altuve. Murphy's not going back to the dugout. And we may have a replay. Let's see. He is safe. And they're going to go in and check that out. First base umpire, John, is Kerwin Danley.
Yeah, Altuve just got in between, really, between the cut and the grassy. And the ball just pops off his glove. But Daniel Murphy, when you think about what he's done against the Mets, this is unbelievable. We're talking about last year carrying the Mets, then signing with the Nationals, coming back. Those numbers just don't make sense when you think about what he's been able to do for the Nationals and what he did for the Mets a year ago.
They reviewed it. Safe is the call, and Murphy knew it, so he never moved. And the leadoff man is on what will be an error, he would think, on Altuve on that ball to his left. The drop, and it cost him.
Yeah, I thought when Murphy jumped for the bag, that might have cost him, because you see the heel get down before the...
And with that, it's a 4-2 game halfway through. What a night it's been already. The 2016 MLB All-Star Game on Fox is presented by MasterCard. They know how to handle the big moments. 2 Royals going deep in this game for the American League. First it was Eric Hosmer, then it was Salvador Perez.
Well, here they come. And it's the relievers that Ned Yost has. They all have electric fastballs. They can shut you down.
First up is Jay Bruce, and Herrera, who is filling in for the injured Wade Davis, the tremendous closer on the DL for the Kansas City Royals, and part of that fantastic end of the game combination for Ned Yost is on here in the 6th inning. Jay Bruce, power hitting outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds, waits for an 0-2 and strikes out on 3 pitches. Well, one of the Royals that hit the home run, as we mentioned, Eric Hosmer. And we experienced 360-degree replay from Intel.
And it's giving you a look from all angles, and they all look good if you're Eric Hosmer. Enjoying a great All-Star game, as is his team and his manager and the league so far with a 4-2 lead.
Young kid Odubel Herrera from the Philadelphia Phillies stands in. He can run. He's got some pop. He was a Rule 5 player that stuck on the roster last year, and the Phillies could afford that as they're rebuilding. And he takes a pitch up and away for ball 1. You saw the numbers: hitting .294, 10 homers, 33 RBIs, the 12 steals. Trying to get on here in the 6th inning in a 2-run game. Meanwhile, an interesting note for the 5th inning. 2 Colombian-born pitchers went at it, Quintana and Tehran. Prior to this year, there had only been 1 Colombian-born player ever been in an All-Star game, and that was Edgar Renteria. So proud moment for that country as Herrera slashes at it, flies it to center, and coming to get it is Ian Desmond for out number 2. Here are the defensive substitutions now. All yellow. Trumbo's in left. Desmond's in center, and Beltran from the Yankees in right. Donaldson, Lindor, Cano, Hosmer the only holdover, with Wieters catching Herrera on the mound.
Well, our game has got so many talented players from so many countries internationally. They represent themselves at every position. And as dynamic as the game is growing, and as we see the World Games that will be played, Baseball Classic, the sport has a lot of young, talented players groomed to be stars.
Here is Duvall out in front of the plate. Wieters gets to it. And that will do it for a quick and easy inning for Herrera as the bullpen takes over for the Royals. Those late inning relievers, 4-2 game. How about fond farewells? Peyton Manning, a Super Bowl champion, on his way out. Kobe Bryant scored 60 in his final game with the Lakers. David Ortiz's career ends as a 40-year-old. Tonight in this game, Ortiz was 0 for 1 with a walk. That spot scored a run as Encarnacion took over. And after starting in his first All-Star game in 2004 when he hit a home run, and this is 10th, he is hoping for more of the same, John, in the second half, not just from himself, but from the Boston Red Sox and that good lineup. Here's Scherzer taking over, and first up is Hosmer, who's 2 for 2.
Well, if you like adrenaline, arms, legs, 2 different eye colors, you're going to love Mr. Scherzer. He gets after it, and he is not holding back.
Hosmer's looking for his 3rd hit of the night. We're about to hear from David Ortiz, who is standing by with our own Ken Rosenthal.
By the way, that was awesome what we just watched. Just seeing the younger generation paying respects to a guy who is and fits what a superstar is.
Hosmer gets the bat on the ball. I personally don't think I've ever seen David Ortiz in better shape.
No, it has been, you know, as a former player who you would love, every athlete wants to go out on the perfect way, right? They want that dream season. He's having it. And what makes it more special is he knows this is the right call. We see it in the sports where, you know, he's going to get his farewell tour, but this guy has given so much to the game and has been through the greatest moments and come up so clutch. I just can't even imagine what that would feel like to end the way he is so far in his last year.
Top first baseman in baseball with regard to hits, with 100 on the season is Hosmer, and he's put together good at bats. He's 2 for 2, but he's been in a battle every time, and he's won the first 2 battles.
Well, unfortunately for the rest of pitchers in baseball, that's why they saw the Kansas City Royals do what they did last year. Big attack swings early, then fight, put the ball in play. And that's how they could pull off some of those rallies that they did. They put pressure on the other teams. They bought into it, but they are not cheated early. They swing for the fences early and then go into attack defensive mode with 2 strikes.
Scherzer's the top strikeout guy in baseball this year on the mound. He gets Hosmer, who's retired for the first time tonight, down to Ken Rosenthal.
Saturday on FS1, Big Papi and the Red Sox battle Carlos Beltran and the Yankees. Then Miguel Cabrera looks to slug the Tigers past Eric Hosmer and the Royals. The action begins Saturday at 3:30 Eastern on FS1.
Play Ball is MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. Geico in-game box score through the first 4 innings. The starters put this together. The big blows by Hosmer and Salvador Perez. Home runs. Hosmer, a 2-hit game. Right now, I think would be leading in the MVP voting. Homered, an RBI single. He's driven home 2 of the 4 American League runs. Our play of the game brought to you by Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers Pictures. Released on August 5th worldwide. After he fouled one off his leg, Salvador Perez Goes deep, a 2-run shot in that 3-run second for the American League.
He doesn't have fun playing, does he?
Man, and he's just, you talked about the durability for a guy who leads the big leagues in innings caught. Over 4,100 innings caught since 2013, leading by a mile. And, you know, we talk about it every postseason, or at least the last couple. Foul tips and foul tips that are hit at him, and foul tips he hits off himself. He just seems to take a beating, but man, he's tough. And that includes the postseason, so there's an even bigger number for you with all the postseason games the Royals have been in the last couple of years. 1 ball, 1 strike on Luke Croy, his first Ragin' Cajun from the University of Louisiana Lafayette. And he joins our friend Ted Simmons as the only Brewers catcher to go to multiple All-Star games. What's on the line? Well, home field advantage in the upcoming World Series. The American League has won 10 of the 13 that have quote-unquote counted. You can like it or not like it, but that's what's on the line here tonight, as it's been the previous 13 games. And whether it's the rookie Corey Seager or the rookie Aledmus Diaz, one of the most unlikely stories in the first half of the season, it'll be a rookie at the plate for the National League, and it will not be Andrew Miller on the mound for the American League. Will Harris of the Astros is getting loose, and here he comes. Diaz will be the hitter. What a moment for this young man from Cuba. Coming up. Paints the outside corner, and the lead remains 2. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Home field advantage on the line. Realize that 6 of the last 7 World Series champions had home field advantage.
That's a luxury to have, and certainly that man right there is hoping to benefit 2 years in a row if his team can get back.
The last time the National League was down by 2 in the 9th inning, come back to win, was our trivia question, July 12th of 1994. Donaldson, they get 1, they got them both. And this game is over, saved by Britain in the American League yet again. We'll have home field advantage in the upcoming World Series.
Nonetheless, not what you want running down the bases.
So the 4-2 final in a 3-hour, 5-minute game. And in this game, home runs by Hosmer, Salvador, Perez. For the American League, the big blows. And Ned Yost is 2-0 in All-Star Game managing history.
Last minute to be friends, and then they go to competing against each other.
So he's able to enjoy this experience in San Diego all the way around. Ned Yost came into this game with a plan to win it, and his group wins it 4-2. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Sal, you know Johnny Cueto well. You caught him last year. How did you approach him when you hit that home run in the 2nd inning?
I just trying to look something up out over the play, and I think he don't want to throw that pitch there. I think he just leave it there, and I got it pretty good. I hit it pretty good tonight.
Eric Hosmer, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. It's his first All-Star game. What was it like watching him do that?
That's unbelievable. You know what? I'm so excited for him, for his family. He deserves to be in here. And he like my brother, so everything happened tonight for him is going to be great for him. He deserves to do it.
Last question. David Ortiz's last All-Star game. What was that experience like?
That's unbelievable. The last 4 All-Star game I have, my first was Derek Jeter, second one, no, my first was Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and now David Ortiz. It's unbelievable experience, you know, to be around this guy. That's the guy we want to be after 10 more years.
Thanks, Sal. Joe, back to you.
On a night where we celebrated David Ortiz, again, it's the American League ending up on top. Stay with us. We will present the American League team with the MVP trophy. Who will it be? We'll find out on the other side of the break. The American League wins it, and they will have home field advantage in the upcoming World Series. It's time to present the hardware. Let's go down to the field and give it to Chris Myers.
Thank you, Joe, from the field here in San Diego, where the 2016 All-Stars put on quite a show tonight. And time now for the Chevrolet All-Star Most Valuable Player Award presentation. Let me introduce the special guest, Commissioner Rod Manfred, our 2016 MVP, and Brian Sweeney, the U.S. Vice President of Chevrolet. Gentlemen, thank you for being out here, and we'll start with you, Commissioner.
Well, it's my pleasure to present the Ted Williams Most Valuable Player Award presented by Chevrolet to Eric Hosmer of the Kansas City Royals.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.
As you hold that up, he was just joking about you were asking Mike Trout what you do with that. And now, Brian, if you wanted to say a few words that come along, excuse me, Commissioner, with this award and this performance from Eric tonight.
Eric, congratulations on behalf of Chevrolet and our Chevrolet dealers across the United States. We've got 2 MVPs for you to choose from. Our 50th anniversary Camaro or our Midnight Edition Colorado. You pick it. Come on.
Oh, man. Oh.
This isn't a game show, Eric. You got to choose one.
Well, I tell you what, Pops needs a new truck, so we're going to go with the Midnight.
Pops is here. All right, with the new truck.
Yeah.
All right, the Chevy Colorado. A couple of questions. First of all, congratulate. You'll have fun driving that up the Pacific Coast Highway. Just get on I-40, right, to get back to KC?
Exactly, yeah. Take that the whole way, huh?
All right, your first All-Star game and the first Royal, the only other Royal since Bo Jackson to win the All-Star MVP award. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much, man. It's really been a great venue out here in San Diego. Just couldn't think of a better place to spend the first one. The weather, people, everything's been great around here, so thank you very much.
All right, so in that second inning, Eric, you homer, tie the game. Your teammate homers later to give the lead for the American League off a teammate of last year. A little inside edge against Johnny Cueto, the ex-Royal.
Yeah, it was. It's so crazy because it felt like my first big league game today. You know, the first inning, Brian came up and hit the home run, and I'm like, man, this guy must be on top of the world right now. And sure enough, follow that next inning and put a good swing on one, and just smiling all around the bases. You know, it's fun when you can play this game, and it makes you feel like a kid again.
Maybe you can share this with Salvador Perez, your teammate, give him a ride at least.
Yeah, I should have took the Camaro so we could race and see who's faster, huh?
So you can comfortably head into the second half of the season knowing what you did last year, another American League win. So whether it's the Royals or a team from your league, you'll have home field advantage in the World Series in October.
Yeah, that was the message from everybody in the clubhouse. You know, it's such a huge advantage to have home field advantage. So we don't know who it's going to be, but we wanted to bring it back to the American League.
All right, we thank Brian Sweeney from Chevrolet, the Commissioner Rod Manfred, and the 2016 Most Valuable Player here in the All-Star Game, Eric Hosmer. Have fun, Eric. Thanks. Thanks a lot for being with us. Let's head back upstairs to Joe Buck.
As you think about Eric Hosmer, list of first basemen to win MVPs: McCovey, Garvey, McGriff, Fielder. How about the night for Kansas City in the American League? AL wins it 4-2. Back after this in San Diego.